Welcome back to the big board. I thought I'd do a quick wrap up on Salerno 43 actually. So I haven't done a lot of video on this, and I know that there are some other folks that are doing play by play and extended examples of play and things like that. So I think I'm gonna skip the mechanical discussion and just have a chat about the constructs around the gameplay, what happened, and things of that nature, since I haven't done an update for quite a while. So we're at the beginning of turn 18, and it's actually an endpoint for us because we've achieved an allied automatic victory. And way back, I think the last video I may have done was turn 7 or 8. Really struggling around this Eboli area here. Had a number of divisions focused on this area, trying to capture Alta Via as well, just to the left of camera, and then pressing down into sort of the 8th Army, 5th Army barrier or boundary just just off screen. And so I was pushing quite a few forces down that way, which arguably was a mistake because there's no VPs down there other than this one right over there, which I caught quite early on. Right now, the other interesting thing was that given how tough this was, I started focusing on the northern aspects up here with the British, and the British were starting to really take a little bit of a pounding at north of Salerno, which is, I'm going to just point to it here, and we'll get zoomed in on what's going on up here in a second. They had a real hard time working up either of these mountain valley areas, these little valleys between these two mountainous regions. Really difficult. So I was bouncing between these two areas trying to get some traction, and there was pretty significant defensive stacks that by the time we were all said and done, every battle started out at round about 1-to-1 based on the doubling of certain units in defense. And then if I couldn't bring enough air or artillery into the game, or an elite unit into the game for this particular battle, then we were really struggling to get 3-to-1 or 4-to-1. So there were no significant breakthroughs, which really bogged down this whole area. So fast forward, after eventually capturing Eboli, that was actually ended up becoming a contested hex. There was a city battle. The ownership went backwards and forwards a couple of times. And then we finally pressed through this valley, pushed everybody back here, because the 8th Army folks, the Canadians and some of the Brits, finally arrived down here in the south and started putting pressure on the southern approach. And eventually by turn 16, 17, they were starting to press up this way and looking to capture this particular junction here, which would then cut supply off all these guys and put them in dire straits. So that really forced the Germans to begin to pull back more aggressively, do less counterattacks. The counterattacks have been very effective up till now, particularly in the north. We're going to have a look at that in just a second. And so this really went sideways for the Germans once these additional forces came in. But what I realized maybe 2 turns ago, so turn 15 or so, excuse me, let me get some water. I've got a peanut stuck. Okay, what I realized up here, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit here. Up in this zone, let's get this angle here. What I realized was I was banging my head against Eboli to the south, and so I pivoted. I took most of the 82nd Airborne, I took the 45th Division, and then reinforced it with some of the reinforcements, the new forces coming in, which this was 3rd Division, and we've got some other guys here as well. Well, they're mainly paras. Maybe it was just 3rd Division. Yeah, 34th as well. So push these guys up, forced or directed the British to really just focus on this hex here, which is Avellino here, worth 2 VPs, and drove them all up this road here, screened off any forces that were sort of lingering around here. There were a few German units lingering here, and that allowed me to then concentrate a weight of effort on this particular hex, Nocera Inferio here. There were Hermann Göring units there that were super tough, just one dude after another like this. Yeah, this little bugger. They held out for a long time there, but by bringing the Paras in, the American Paras, the forces from the 45th, their armor, and the air, that gave me an edge in the odds column. We finally bounced those guys out of there. Once they were bounced out, it allowed me to push one of Darby's Rangers up here. That forced the garrison to drop back to here. We rolled for that garrison. It ended up being a no unit, so we took this city for free. That was a 1 VP. Next turn, turn 17, that allowed us to advance enough units off the map. You have to get 6 offensive combat factors off the map with, I think, more than 1 unit. It's going to be multiple units or something like that. And that allowed me to pick up an extra 5 VPs, which then bumped me up over the 20 mark. Also that was greater than 5 VPs or 6 VPs on the turn track. So that allowed us to pick up our auto win. Now, it's notable that Parma had still not fallen. Avellino had still not fallen. I had suffered disrupt results there, exchanges there. So the 7th Armored formation just took an absolute pounding here. We finally got some units to surround this guy, but he proved to be super difficult to dislodge. They're really tough units. But what that did allow us to do was run up, because of the retreating and the attrition going on, we were able to run up this road here, and I came up somewhere else as well. I think it was mainly this road here, and pull in. And next turn we would have picked up Ariano as well, which was just what a compounded the victory. So we stopped. It's over. We'd got our auto victory. It was on turn 17 of 22 turns, and I think we only have 2 more units to bring on from the 34th Infantry Division for the full experience. So significantly, it's very easy if the dice go your way with this game. It's very easy. Let me just scroll over here a little bit. Let's angle down here and zoom in. It's very easy to pick up a half-decent counterattack for the Germans if you, as the Allied player, don't manage your stacking and your spacing and all that sort of stuff well. The concept of main attack force, or MAF, where you are needing to say, this is the division that's fighting, so I'm using these 2 guys, and if I have another unit from another division, let's grab this guy, and he's fighting with us as well. Well, he's going to be treated, his combat factors are going to be treated differently than the primary force that's used. And so managing all that, you have to be very careful. Not as important with the Germans because of the way they're structured, but certainly weighed in on the Allies, trying to hunt and peck, min-max and optimize the attacks here. There was a little bit of that going on, just trying to shuffle the right guys around. So you're often bringing in independent armored units or armored tank battalions to sort of boost the numbers, but keeping in mind that you can only get 20 attack factors anyway. A lot of the time you're just going to end up with a base 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 attack, just because of the terrain is so beneficial to the enemy. Most of the time they're going to be doubled on defense, so they're going to have at least, like this hex here would be, if it's non-armored, that'd be 8 factors right there, 2 and 2 multiplied by 2, right? Same pretty much with these guys, except for the armor. They're all going to be doubled. So super fun, very quick playing, very easy to connect on. Not too many mistakes made, I don't believe. And I enjoyed it immensely. So anyway, that's my quick little wrap on the system. Well, not on the system, but on the gameplay. Just to let you know what went down. Got a nice full run to feel how the battle evolved, and it actually did play out relatively historically accurately, just with some of the ebb and flow, and particularly down here in the early turns near Paestum down here. This area was almost overrun, and we almost lost this beachhead, and it was literally nip and tuck, touch and go type of thing for the first 4 or 5 turns, which in fact maybe even longer, because 4 or 5 turns would be about right, and that was pretty much what happened historically. So it wasn't until we were able to get some extra units in and push the British a little bit this way to the Salé River here that forced the Germans to pull back a little bit, and they took some losses here as well. So came together very nicely. Really looking forward to getting this running on Vassal with my buddy Steve, and we'll talk to you again soon. All the best. Get out there and roll some dice. Ciao.